Hi everybody, this is going to be a video over slope-intercept form of quadratic functions. Now, you're probably already familiar with this form. You probably saw this in previous years. Our slope-intercept form is y equals mx plus b, where m is the slope of our linear equation, and b is representing the y-intercept of that linear equation. So let's look at how we can graph linear equations super easily when they are written in this slope-intercept form. When we're given a slope and a y-intercept, graphing is super easy because we can take our y-intercept and we can plot that point first. So we're going to go 4 up on the y-axis. Okay, we can plot our y-intercept. And then we know the slope of this line is going to be -2. So we know the slope is -2, which I can write as -2 over 1. That means I can go down to right 1 to get from the point I already have plotted to my next one. So I can start at my y-intercept. I can count down to right 1, put another point there, and then I can keep repeating this pattern. Down to right 1, down to right 1, down to right 1. And then I can't fit any more points on my coordinate plane here. So I'm going to go ahead, stop, connect my points, put the arrows on the end, and I have successfully graphed my linear equation. So graphing linear equations when they're written in this slope-intercept form is very simple. You plot your y-intercept, and then you use your slope to get all the rest of your points. It's also very easy to write an equation for a linear equation when we're trying to get it into slope-intercept form and we already know the slope and the y-intercept of this line. So if I'm going to write an equation in slope-intercept form, which we know is y equals mx plus b, and if I know that it has a slope of 3 and I know that it has a y-intercept, which remember is our b value of -2, it's as simple as just plugging in the information that I know. My equation would be y equals m, which we're given a slope of 3. So mx, so 3x, plus b. We know the b value is going to be -2. So you could put plus -2, but that really is just a -2. Okay, so now we have our equation written in slope-intercept form. We can verify, yes, our equation has that slope of 3 and the y-intercept of 2 that we wanted. So graphing and writing equations is pretty straightforward when you have the slope and the y-intercept. Okay, let's say we're given a graph and we want to know the equation that matches up with that linear function. Well, if I want to be able to write my equation in slope-intercept form, which again is y equals mx plus b, we really only need 2 pieces of information. We need to know the slope, which we can find by looking at the graph. And we need to know the y-intercept, which again, we can find by looking at this graph. So I'm going to write down the 2 things that I'm looking for in order to find or be able to write my equation. So let's start with slope. I've got 2 points here, and I can find the slope really easily by doing rise over run. So I have to go up 2, right 1. So that means my slope is 2 over 1, which is just 2. I can also see here that my y-intercept, okay, remember a y-intercept is where it crosses the y-axis, is right here at a y value of 1. So my b value is going to be 1. So now that I know my slope and my y-intercept, writing my equation, again, is simple as just plugging in these values. So our equation that goes with this graph would be y equals 2x plus 1. Okay, for our last example here, we're going to look at how we can rearrange an equation that's written in standard form into slope-intercept form. So how can I go from one form to the other? So kind of like converting. Okay, if you think about slope-intercept form, we really have an equation that has been solved for y. So in standard form, when x and y are on the same side, In order to convert that to slope-intercept form, we really just need to solve for the y in our equation. So think back to chapter 1 when we were doing literal equations. We were solving for a particular variable. We're using our inverse operations. It's the same exact thing. Okay, so we're just solving for y. So let's split it down the middle. I'm going to start by subtracting 2x to cancel this out. So I have to subtract 2x from this side as well. On the left side, we're left with negative 3y. And that's going to be equal to negative 2x plus 6. At this point, I need to divide both sides by negative 3. And we're left with y on the left side. Now, on the right side, I need to divide the negative 2x by negative 3 and the positive 6 by negative 3. If I divide negative 2x by negative 3, I get positive 2/3 x. And if I divide 6 by negative 3, I get negative 2. So now we can see that we're in slope-intercept. I can see that this equation, this linear function, has a slope of 2/3 and a y-intercept of negative 2. All right, guys, that is it for this video. Hope this was helpful. Have a wonderful rest of your day.